Hello, gorgeous souls. This is Aqualyn, and welcome to Friday Night Live. Welcome to Friday Night Live. I am super excited about what I'm going to share with you tonight. I have a hint. That's my hint. So, I'm going to get right into it. So today in my group, Inner Work Sessions, which is my free coaching group, I actually encourage the ladies to write what I call a New Year letter. And this is something that I've been doing for a very long time. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of mine here where you just write a letter to yourself on December 31st. And it can either talk about the year that we're in currently, or it can encourage you in the year to come, whatever it is that you want to write in your letter, and then date it for December 31st, 2023, and then open it then. So that is an assignment that we're working on inside of Inner Work Sessions, and that inspired me today. I was like, you know what, I can talk about this because this is one of what I like to call one of my healing and inner work tools is writing letters. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember. I actually had a boyfriend in my early 20s who would always say, whenever we got into an argument, I would write a letter, and he would say, I'd rather for you to express yourself to me in letters than for us to argue, because I can hear your heart in the letters. And so I've been writing letters and doing this type of work for a very long time. As a matter of fact, when I had a teen ministry, and did women's ministry and women's conferences, one of the things that I would always encourage is letter writing. I actually used to do what I used to call girlfriend empowerment parties, where I would go to someone's house and they would invite their girlfriends and we would eat, and then I would just do coaching with them, and I would have them to write a letter to themselves, and I would put it in the mail to them 1 month after that particular party. And so I just think that this is a very powerful healing tool that I think that we should utilize more. I'm going to share with you a little bit about this tool, and also share with you just certain things that maybe you want to write about. I know for me, it's really helped me to heal a couple of relationships. When my late sister passed away, there were some unresolved issues that I had regarding our relationship. When she passed away, we were in a great space, but growing up, we had a lot of tension, and a lot of things happened that she actually blamed me for that wasn't my fault. But I understand now her position and why she felt the way she felt. But when she first passed away, I had a lot of issues a lot of issues that were unresolved. And so I wrote a letter to her in my journal. As a matter of fact, let me pull out the workbook, because in the workbook I'm going to share an assignment here in the workbook. But I had a lot of issues with her that were unresolved, and so writing those letters, writing that specific letter to her, really helped me to get some things off my chest, but also to resolve and let those things go, and be done with it once and for all. And what I use my letters for too is I go back. So whenever, okay, let me just share another time that I used the letter, and then I'll talk about how I use them mentally. So another time, I went through a breakup of a friendship, and it was really hurtful. It was just a lot of things that transpired and happened, and things that were said that were just really hurtful. It was hurtful on both ends. But I remember feeling, having unresolved feelings even in that, and sitting down, grabbing my journal, and just writing that friend a letter. And once I wrote it and I released it and I let it go, that was it for me. Like, I just let it go. And so I said that to say that sometimes whenever the mind comes up to to remind you of your past, or remind you that, you know, this person offended you, or this situation is happening in your life. What I do is I go back and I say, nope, I wrote that letter and I left it there. I resolved it. It is no longer my issue to have. And so that's a good way to get things off of you and out of you, and get them even away from you when you write a letter. So I want to just share with you some benefits of writing I'm going to call it an inner work healing letter. Some benefits are you can really express yourself, because sometimes when we're talking to people, we are trying to express ourselves, but then also another part of that is listening to them and trying to figure out what we're going to say when they finish talking. And so what this does is it just helps you to just express yourself without anticipating what they're going to say or anything like that. So it really helps you to express yourself. Another benefit is you find completion. You find completion, especially with unresolved or unfinished business. Like I said, with my late sister, you know, she was no longer in my life for me to just say, hey, you know, this, I have an issue with this. You know, you said this and it really hurt my feelings, and I never got a chance to tell you. So I got a chance to write that and just say how I felt. And I let it go. I really let it go, and it was so powerful and so beautiful. And a couple of times I went back and I read that letter, and I was really expressive. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about shortly. But it helps you find completion. Another benefit number 3 is it shifts your energy. So a lot of times we're walking around with, you know, weighed down energy because of a situation that maybe we found ourselves in a relationship, or it doesn't even have to be a tangible thing. And I'm definitely going to talk about that too. So maybe you are just having a rough time financially. You can write a letter to your finances, to your money. But what I'm saying is that it shifts your energy. So a lot of times we walk around really heavy with weighed down energy because there's some unresolved conditions and situations in our lives, and especially with people. And so when we get that off of our chest, what we're doing is we are freeing ourselves of that weighed down energy that is keeping us bound. So that is number 3. The 4th benefit is it helps you connect. Hi, Jackie. It helps you connect with certain parts of yourself. It helps you connect with certain parts of yourself. Because here's the thing, when you start expressing yourself by writing your letter, what you're doing is you are understanding more about yourself and what you will and will not allow, what you will and will not accept. You know, you connect with your feelings, how you feel or how you felt in a particular situation. So it helps you connect with certain parts of yourself. The 5th benefit of writing your healing and inner work letter is that it helps you to honor your truth. It helps you to honor your truth. I have this acronym that I use for HEAL that says honor, empower, accept, and love yourself. And that is, hi, Melanie, that is the goal that I have for what I do is I want to help women heal themselves. I want to help them honor, empower, accept, and love themselves. But when you write this letter, it helps you to honor your truth. Because your truth is that that person really did offend you, or that condition or situation really is affecting your life in this present moment. And so when you write your letter, you actually help honor your truth in that moment. And then the sixth benefit of your inner work and healing letter is it shifts your perspective. Because sometimes we see things, especially when you're angry or when you're upset, you see things only one way. And then once you start writing and once you start expressing yourself, you begin to shift and see things from a different perspective. So it helps you to do that as well. So let me give you those 6 benefits one more time of writing a healing inner work letter. And that is, number 1, it helps you to express yourself. Number 2, you find completion and able to, to get that unfinished business resolved. Number three is it helps you shift your energy. Number four, it helps you connect with certain parts of yourself. Number five, it helps you to honor your truth. And number six, it helps you to shift your perspective. Um, and I wanted to share with you just a couple of things when it comes to this. Um, and that is the types of letters that you can write. And then I'm going to share with you actually a couple of letters that I actually wrote. One, I'm thinking about sharing one to myself, but definitely letters to God that I write all the time. But these are the type of letters that you can write. It could be a letter of forgiveness, meaning that you are asking someone to forgive you, or maybe you are extending forgiveness to someone. It could be a letter of release. Maybe you just need to release whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind, and you just need to get it off your chest. You know how we always say, I just need to get something off my chest. How should the letter look? I'm going to talk to you about that in just a moment. Release letter, and then also a letter of gratitude. You know, just I'm so grateful, and those are mainly the ones that I write to God, or gratitude letters. Another one is a letter to your inner child, or a letter to a version of you. Maybe you had a traumatic experience, and now that I'm talking about this, I probably should write a letter to myself from the time that I had surgery, because I went through a really dark space. As a matter of fact, I wrote a letter to myself in that space, but now that I'm on the other side, I need to go back and write a letter to myself for that, you know, and pulling myself through that. Anyway, let's see here. Another version of you, I talked about the inner child. A letter of celebration, celebrating your success, celebrating someone else's success, celebrating whoever and whatever. Another one could be another type of letter that you can write is an ending of something. So maybe you're ending something, maybe you're ending a job, and you just want to write a letter about that experience. Or maybe you're beginning a new job, or maybe you're beginning a new career, or whatever. Write a letter about that experience. The letter could be to someone. The letter could be to a condition that's present in your life. So like I said, if you're going through a financial hardship, then write a letter to your money, you know, write a letter to your finances. Or if you're going through a divorce, write a letter to the divorce, like not necessarily to the person that you're divorcing or breaking up with, but to the actual energy of divorce, or the energy of separation, or the energy of, you know, being cut from something or someone. Also to God, or like I said, you can write it to a different version of you or a new version of you. Now, here are a few rules when you write your healing inner work letter. And that is, number one, don't hold back. Don't hold back. I have this thing where I write in my journals I call soul dump. And when I do soul dump, I say whatever the heck in hell I want to say. Like, I really express myself without judgment, because that is the one time that I can just get it all off my chest. I say whatever I want to say, however I want to say it, and I don't hold back. Because if you hold back, then that goes back to having those unresolved issues. If you hold back, then there's nothing that you're really resolving. So be really as expressive as you need to be, and don't hold back. And the next rule is you have to be honest in your letters. If you are not going to be honest, do not write a healing letter at all. Do not write it at all, because this is where you connect with and you tell your truth. And this is going to help you in the future to be able to communicate your truth to people when you're in relationship with them, because now you have something where you know how to express yourself. Whether you've done it on paper, now when you need to vocalize it, you're able to vocalize it in a better way, because you've already done it. You've already done this part of it for yourself. So what to write? You can write thoughts, you can write feelings, you can write, you know, whatever your side of the situation is, whatever it is that you want to write, just write your letters. Write your letters. So, how should the letter look? Before we get into how should the letter, before I want to read you a couple of my letters, I want to refer you to the Gorgeous Soul Workbook, because in here we have a my love letter to me. And so it says, "Dear me," and you write the letter. And then at the bottom of this, it says, "With all my love." So you write it like you would write a letter to anyone that you want to write a letter to. So that is the way that you write a letter. Again, you can start it how you want to start it. You can say it how you want to say it. You can end it how you want to end it. But just write it in letter format. I want to read you, let's see here. I want to read, so this one is the one that I wrote on December, this one 2018, to open for December 2019. So you see I say open December 31st 2019. And so this one is, "Dear D'Aquilin, let me first say I'm super proud of you, I am super proud of you, Miss Lady. You did your thing this year in spite of the challenges you had having a minor stroke. I actually had a TIA. It lasted like 24 hours. I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning one morning and couldn't, like, my arm felt like it was, you know how you sleep on your arm? So I felt like I slept on my arm, but I couldn't gain the feeling back. So I called the emergency, went to the hospital, kept me overnight, and found out the next morning that I suffered a minor stroke. And that changed a lot of my life, which is why, you know, now I have to have a monthly treatment and stuff like that, but it changed my life. But in this, I say, you know, overcame the challenge of having a minor stroke. You persevered and you did a great job, and still taking care of Aaron and Brittany. Those are my two nieces. You started this year removing stuff off of your credit report. Then you started a new business. You grew one of your online groups. You got guest speakers to share in Self-Love University, and you grew in confidence while doing it. You learned that you are resilient and strong. You also started looking for houses to finally accomplish one of your goals of becoming a homeowner. You've shifted spiritually, and you found your voice, your way of doing what you love, and you continue to persevere regardless of what you were feeling physically and emotionally, and you never gave up on yourself. You become free to express your truth, and you even discovered some truths of your own. You found your value, and you are now confident in what you do and how much value you offer. You are one very amazing woman, and I am so super proud of you. Oh, and let's not forget, you started the process of hip and pelvis surgery too. So this was, I had started the process. I had the TIA pushed it back, and then I had that in 2019. And so this is a 3 or 4 page letter, so I'm not going to read all of this, but that's just kind of how it goes. And then I also talk about what to look forward to in the next year in that letter. So I look back over the previous year. So if I'm writing this letter today, I'm going to write about this whole year, celebrate what I've done, how I've done it, and then I'm going to write what I'm looking forward to doing and manifesting and having in my life. So that's that one. Now the ones that I want to read next, I have a lot of these. I actually write them on thank you cards, but these are thank you cards that I write to God. And what I do, and the reason why I do it like this is because it's easier for me to just pull out a card as opposed to a piece of paper and write a full letter. But this is where I keep them in this little, it's actually a candelabra where you just put a candle in it and it lights up. But I put it in here, and that's where I keep all of these at. So I just want to read you a couple of these so you can see how they go. One is my favorite. Let me see if I can find the one that's my favorite. I call it Always. Always. Dear God, thank you for always loving me and for always having my best interests at heart. I may not always understand you or your methods, but I always trust you. It doesn't always feel good, meaning the processes, but they always benefit me in the end. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you also for my innate gifts, those I know and those I am yet to discover. Help me to always use my gifts to bring glory and honor to you and to your name. Continue to grant me physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and financial strength to be able to be, do, and have whatever you desire from me. Thank you for your love. Thank you that your love, grace, and mercy are ever present in my life each and every day. Thank you that I am strong in you. I am powerful in you. I am confident in you. I am love in you. My life is yours. My dreams, goals, and aspirations are yours. Love always. And then I sign it Sunshine. Because some years ago, I clearly heard God call me Sunshine, and that's just kind of been my little thing with God, is God calls me Sunshine. Let's see here. Another one, and that one was in December 2019, and this was the year that I had went through a lot. Hi, Laverne. This year was a year that I went through a lot of complications with surgery, and I was actually in a dark place when I wrote this. So let me say this, because you can also use your letters to pull you out of certain spaces that you're in your life. And so that's what this did for me, and this is why I think this is my favorite, is because I remember being in such a dark space because I had had that surgery earlier that year. That surgery came with a bunch of complications that caused another surgery that I had to have in November. And while I was recovering, I had qualified for a house, and then I had a cousin who passed away, and it seemed like when that cousin passed away, like all of the things that I had been through that year just kind of came crashing down. And so this was a time in my life where it was the darkest time of my life, but I found time and I found strength within me. I found the God within me to be able to connect with God and just give thanks. And so that's why this is one of my favorites. But yeah, so that's how you write your letters. And I'm not going to share a whole lot. Let's see. Dear God, thank you for daily increasing my capacity to believe. Thank you for expanding my mind, my heart, and my life. Thank you for your ever-present joy that keeps a perpetual smile on my face each and every day. Thank you for my beautiful family and my great friends. Thank you for all the profound revelations I am given whenever I spend time reading and feeding my soul. Thank you for my virtual mentors whom I learn from. Thank you for their wisdom, knowledge, understanding, divine revelation, and spiritual insight. Thank you for increasing them day by day in every way. Thank you for love. My heart and my life is overflowing with love every single day, and that love is increasing too. Thank you for being abundance. And that's it. So that's how you write your letters. Again, you can be as fully expressive as you need to be in your letters. Like I said, it could be a letter of, I wish I had my journal. I would have to like dig through and find the journal of the letter that I wrote to my late sister. I would share some parts of that because it really was very detailed about just some grievances that I had regarding our relationship that I was able to resolve just in writing that letter. So with that, I want to encourage you to get a pen and a piece of paper, or you can get fancy. And I've actually had this set for a long time, but you can get fancy and get you some colorful stationery and write your letters, because this is a great healing exercise. And I don't want you to do this just because the year is ending. Yes, if you want to write an annual letter, do that, but just make this a practice for yourself, that you write letters as often as you need to write them to whomever you need to write them. Now, pardon me, as far as sending the letter, here's the thing. You can send the letter if you're going to be safe, but this is really an exercise for you and not necessarily for someone else. Okay. So with that, I want to leave you with 5 letters that I want to encourage you to write. 5 letters that I want to encourage you to write. I want you to consider I want you to write a letter to God. I want you to write a letter to yourself. I want you to write a letter to someone you love. I want you to write a letter to someone you need to resolve something with. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a someone. It could be a condition or a situation. So maybe you have health issues. Write a letter to that health issue. Maybe you have financial issues. Write a letter to that financial issue. Maybe you have, like I said, a issue in a relationship. Not necessarily write the letter to that person. Write the letter to that issue. Gonna find something very powerful happens when you do that. And then the 5th one is write a letter of gratitude. Write a letter of gratitude. So your assignment, I'm leaving you with an assignment, and that is write 5 letters. 1 to God, 1 to yourself, 1 to someone you love, 1 to someone or something that you need to resolve or find some kind of resolution with. And also number 5 is a letter of gratitude. So with that, I always like to stick around to chit chat. So I don't know who's still with me, but before I log off, I want to give anyone a chance who's going to leave to go ahead and say goodbye. And I want you to understand and know this, that you are the work of God, and God's work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. Have an amazing new year. Have an amazing new year.